guys, this is Joseph, the Hungarian minimalist. I'm recording this video because recently on my YouTube feed I have watched many of videos that popped up about the Buy Nothing rebellion in the US. I'm very proud of my brothers and sisters over there. As a Hungarian and lifelong minimalist, I'm delighted to see that one of the most consumerist, materialistic society is awakening and realizing that the current system is broken. It's not for them. They're realizing that they are out of control and helpless against corrupt politicians, corrupt large corporations, lobbying groups, and so on. Unjustified wars breaking out around the world, affecting food prices, energy prices, and everything. So people feel helpless and think to themselves, like, what can I do as a single individual to change that? And I think the number one step to realizing is that it all starts with you, with the individual, the one person that make a change, make a difference. They realize they want to fight against this corrupt system, and the only way for them to do it without violence is by not supporting these, let's say, these entities. They don't support them with their money, or they're trying to reduce their exposure to them as much as possible. I'm going to break down this concept. I break it down into two parts. The minimalism itself, and the other part is going to be self-sufficiency. Let's start with the latest, self-sufficiency. I'm from Hungary. I spend every year I usually spend 6 months in Hungary, and when before the winter I always fly over to Thailand. This is where my wife is from. This is where my son lives. And in both countries, we try to set up a system for ourselves where we don't depend on the system. Talking about quitting the rat race. It's all started back at home in Hungary. Where I'm from is a small town of 4,000 people. 25 years ago and before, I remember all the houses there. They all have a big front and backyard. Usually the backyard, they used to use them as a food forest. Basically, they used to grow their own food. Almost everybody. You used to see poultry, chicken laying hens in the front yard, isolated from the backyard where they had vegetables growing, fruit trees, and people were really good at storing food, preserving food, and they had almost everyone was not, even though back then in Hungary the economic situation is tough, really tough, but people were not panicking about grocery prices, because there was always food to eat. There was always a strong community that you could trade with. And now 2026, this trend has started that people are reconnecting the old ways. They are they're realizing that inflation is out of control, especially since COVID and now the war. And you know, they decided, okay, I got this piece of land, I'm gonna do whatever I can to feed my family from that. And that's a great thing. Now you can see that more and more people are doing that back at home, and not just in my village, but in the entire country. In Hungary, we have a large community of people who it's a movement that people who moved out of the city. We're talking about mostly young, educated individuals who wanted to quit the rat race, and they saved up some money in the cities and decided to move out to the country, purchase the land, an old cottage, or some of them they purchased an entire abandoned villages with very cheap property prices. And so a few of them started. They have online communities. You know, they grow their own food, they trade, and it does not get much media attention, especially in the Western world, that this alternative living. But it works. And whenever you watch videos about them, how they look so happy, and they look so independent, look healthier, and just to reconnect with similar-minded people as themselves. A strong community who think the same way as you do is the key here to your success, to your happiness. I experienced that in Hungary. Thanks God, it's fantastic. When I go back, I do an organic farming. I planted mostly berries. I have a 1,000 square meter land, but I got fruit trees, berries of all kinds: blackberries, strawberries, red currants, and I have some laying hens. I don't till my garden. I use the lasagna mulching system, so my land is always covered. Before the winter, before I come back to Thailand, I always apply a layer of hay. Over the hay, I apply a layer of nitrogen, nitrogen-rich plants. Whether it's maybe not plants. Sometimes it's horse manure or nettle. The nettle. I'm not sure. Sorry about my English. I think it's called nettle. And you put another layer of hay, and then you water it, and it's going to leave a compost. If the nitrogen carbon ratio is done correctly, it's going to build your soil, not just keep your soil moist and warm during the winter, but it's also going to build you this compost underneath. And so when I do that winter time, I leave the country and then I go back after the winter. And there is so much excess of food that I cannot eat all of them. So what I do, I sell, I trade, I preserve, making jams. The only thing, because I have laying hens, of course I have to leave them when I come back, so I just give them to my friends to look after them. They can keep all the eggs. So basically the only thing in Hungary I buy is meat that I eat. and some basic things such as salt, sugar, stuff like that. But if you can achieve like a 50% self-sufficiency food, that's already a great thing. And I have the capacity, I have the land size to do that. Same thing goes here in Thailand. We own lands. I mean, my wife owns lands. I cannot own lands here. 7-8 years ago, we purchased them. First thing we did was, planting banana trees, avocado trees, lime trees, mango trees, and run the same system here as there. Here in Thailand, we don't have that much of a problem with inflation just yet, but since the American, Israeli and Iran war started, suddenly you got the effect as well. So nowhere is safe. You have to be prepared. I would like to just encourage all of you who have a piece of land, or even if you don't have a piece of land, you just have a balcony, to grow whatever you can, whenever you can, grow food, grow herbs, and trade, join communities. If you cannot, maybe you cannot grow anything, but you have useful skills, and then you can trade services with them. We have I have a group of people at home back in Hungary, friends, very good friends. They are my brothers and sisters. And if one person calls me up that, look, can you help me? We have to harvest potatoes tomorrow. I go help. I don't charge, obviously. And the same guy who owns the land next week comes to me and help me to paint my house, or put the tiles down, help me. And this goes around, and we talked about this. We come together, we talk about it, how we can help each other in every aspect of life. You don't want to do this alone, isolated. You want communities are strong. They are the future. They are the only hope we have. And okay, let's this is a different subject. Okay, it's a buy nothing rebellion, but because you are producing your own food, own goods, and it automatically rewires your brain to be somewhat more minimalist thinking in general. Now, when it comes to consumerism, I never understood why you need so much stuff. Not to point fingers at my American brothers and sisters, or the one in Western Europe, especially the boomers. Like they live, say, you can call them, it's a little bit offensive, but they are brainwashed by the consumerist system. Some of them are so deeply brainwashed that they believe that that's the goal of life, to hoard more and more and more stuff, and then in the process you become more and more isolated, more and more unhappy. You are competing with your people around you. You have a competing mindset. Like, I have to get more. A neighbor got a BMW, and I feel like I'm under pressure because I need to get one as well, because I'm falling behind, and you have the stress of the fear of missing out and all that kind of shit that shouldn't. It's not normal, It's not normal. There are people you can never change their mind. That's why I said you have to seek out the people that are similar to your thinking. And why would we? This is kind of like filling up an empty space in your heart, feeling the one that is missing, the one that used to be there. If you are from an older generation, you know the transformation before the age of internet and unlimited internet access and social media. You feel like something was broke there, and you just want to go back to that time, and you know that something went wrong. Sometimes you cannot identify what's the reason, or so many little components, so many little things that slowly ruining your life. And again, you have material, you have money, you have material abundance, and you don't understand why you're anxious, why you're stressed out, why you burnt out, why you short-tempered, and because you are wearing a mask, because you live your life wearing a mask, not the way you designed to live your life. You live your life based on how other people influence you around you, influencers, celebrities, personals who, just everywhere you get the advertisements coming at you, that this one item, this one stuff is going to make your life complete, and it never happens. Never happens. You really have to meditate about this. What truly matters? What do you want from life? What does that? If you ask yourself the question, like, what would really make me happy right now? And most of you wouldn't be saying like a new German car or another house. Okay, I understand you want to have a house. I do have multiple properties. I have one that I inherited in Hungary, and I have one that I live here in Thailand, and I have another one that I bought and then I rent it out for passive income. Now, how could I, purchase all those properties? With my minimalist and my wife, our lifestyle, we were able to save up a lot of money in a short period of time with not very high income. We are debt-free, and it's all started with trying to, minimalize the stuff we buy, also quitting our bad habits or addictions, overspending. And then as a result, even though your intention was not to save up money, but the money was saved up because that's the way you design your life. So yeah, and the same thing with the farm back at home. Like I said, I love to do that. I love to reconnect with the land. It's so fulfilling when you grow something. I'm an artist. I do oil paintings, yeah, and the same thing is like when you create something, that fulfilling sensation that cannot be replaced by material stuff. First of all, I sit down, paint, or I go and do some gardening, let's say 2 hours, 3 hours straight. That's like a meditation to you. It's like switching off your mind from all the negative external stimuli, excuse my English, and replacing that with very, very healthy habits. The hard work requires thinking, requires patience, paying attention to what you do, and once you see the results through sweat and struggle, you get the beautiful blueberries, blackberries, strawberries growing, and when you see them, you harvest the first one, you can eat it, and it's like, I did that, it's fantastic. I did that, cost me nothing. And then again, and then it comes with opportunities that you don't even anticipate. Like, okay, I can sell it, I can trade it, which is even easier or even better. I preserve it. my painting, when I'm long gone, I passed away, my paintings are still going to be on the wall of someone. And then do it with the community, like back to the gardening, for example. When you do this with the community, it's just so fulfilling. It's happiness. That's real happiness. And I think the other part of it, which is very important, is kind of like you detoxing, like you are doing a dopamine detox when you live your life the way God intended you to live. You are healing your mind. Because, when I'm doing these things, I'm not touching my phones. I'm not doom scrolling on the internet. I'm not craving for unhealthy foods, which many people struggle with, obesity. But you ask yourself the question, like, is it emotional eating, stress eating, or is it because you're really hungry? Because I guarantee you, in most cases, it's the first one. Once again, you're trying to fill that empty hole with quick rewards, quick dopamine hits. Keep bombarding you with easy access dopamine hits, which then slowly but surely will reduce your baseline happiness, and then you need more and more of this easy boosts of dopamine, happy hormones to get the same high. Kind of like an addiction, but this is a little bit more of a slow process. So yeah, buy nothing rebellion. I buy stuff. It's not like I buy nothing, but I just checked my wardrobe the other day. Got like 10 t-shirts in there, and some of them are like 5, 6, 7 years old. I don't care, I go shorts. These shirts, you see, it used to be black. It's already lost its color. This sunglass is a good brand sunglass, but I was given for free from my uncle. So I would not buy a Ray-Ban sunglass for what? It's a really good sunglass, I like it, but would I pay £100 for it, or $100 or $120? Absolutely not. So the aspect of saving money is one thing, and you're not attaching yourself to these things. You need to rewire your brain, not wanting to buy stuff from the money you don't have. As you know the quote, the money you don't have to impress people you don't like. This rat race, the issue is really what I mentioned earlier, is that we try to compete. We see the social media posts, and I really feel sorry for the younger generation who grew up with this. The whole world is available for them. What they see, these young kids who struggle with depression, anxiety, what they can see is that everybody seems to have a better life than them. Everybody seems to be so happy, so beautiful. Not to talk about the 10 kilograms of makeup and filters and editing of the videos, but everything seems fine. Everybody seems so happy. But they are seeking validation from others. That's why they sharing on this social media platform. Whatever, I don't know. But that's one reason. Like, if you see that you are behind, if you are a young kid spending most of your time on social media and then see that you are so behind, what is that going to cause you? This fear of missing out, this fear of falling behind. that's anxiety, right? You need to disconnect from it. I mean, I'm not saying like don't use your social media platforms, but reduce it, or again, just seek out the people that don't trigger your anxiety. You have to really sit down and meditate on what is going on in your mind. Take a time to sit down. Are you able to sit down and just be mindful for half an hour, think through? Can you come to the park and enjoy this silence? Probably not. But us older generations, we know because we lived in both systems. So if you are a younger generation, Gen Z or whatever, you take advice from older people. I know you have in the West you have a opinion about the boomers, but again, just the one that thinks differently. There are so many great content coming out. I'm so happy to see Americans, and not just Americans, Japanese, South Koreans, Chinese, etc. Just saying no. I'm not going to. In China, they refuse to go to work. They say it's like a silent rebellion. It's like forcing their employees to increase the payment, or until that happens, they're not gonna go to work. We're talking about young, educated Chinese people by the hundreds of thousands. Very, very difficult to find content about this because they are being, what's the word, suppressed, because you go against the system, you will be the enemy of the system. I mean, there is nothing the system fears more than you and your bodies trying to create an alternative system where you actually allowed to be really happy, fulfilled. You grow your own food, you don't spend on shit. Advertisements have no effect on you because who cares? Because you already learned the real values is sitting around the campfire with your buddies and have a drink and have a chat, playing with the kids, or just seeing all our kids playing together in the dirt. They can't take that away from you. They will try, they will try. But right now, at the moment, I still have the freedom to do these things. Will it change? It's probably going to change as it grows. But to buy nothing or buy less, they cannot do anything with that. Then I was so upset with the system in the past that I started intermittent fasting and then prolonged fasting because of that. So I'm not going to buy food. I did not eat for 3 days, save money. Like I tell you that save money, of course, if you can. Like this way, if you have an income, you minimize your needs, you're gonna save money. But because you need money, but invest that money into these kind of things, land, animals, community, friends. Property, buying a property is a difficult subject because I know it's very, very difficult now in the Western world to do that. And we are, luckier. I mean, our fathers, the boomers, were lucky. They could get property for pennies. I inherited one. Sorry, this fly just doesn't want to leave me alone. It wants to go into my ear. Maybe this fly was sent by BlackRock or Vanguard, trying to distract me from talking about this. So yeah, that is the plan. I mean, if you get any value from what I talked about, I know my English sucks. I'm not an English speaker, but if you are from the US now, you can find the people. There are so many of them, thousands of them. I don't know the exact number, but it's growing. It's growing, and the government is not happy about it. Buy nothing. Yeah. You remember the movie Fight Club? I suggest you watch it again. Just watch the movie again and see the message for yourself. When I like that part when they go into that house and abandoned house, and then more and more guys start to come in, and then they live there together in a community, and they are so strong, you know, together. They can break the system with ease, you know. That's fantastic. That's what you feel. That's the power you feel when you're reconnecting with or create a community. And I have that, and I tell you that is power. That is fantastic. You feel like you are no longer affected, controlled. You feel like you are free. If the system collapses, I mean, talking about 1920, when was the Great Recession in the US. I'm talking about that level of collapse. If that happens for us, nothing is going to happen to us that much, because, I mean, okay, maybe I cannot travel back here to Thailand. Then I stay in one place and I will be fine. Yeah. Have a plan, start slowly, again, trying to quit your addictions, cut your bad habits, spend less on stuff you don't need, then join the communities, grow your own stuff, learn skills that will help you to survive in tough situations, share those skills, trade those skills, and yeah, that's it. Right, guys, thank you for watching. Take care. See ya.